Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles. I never thought my wife, the woman I had trusted with my life, would ever stoop so low. But when I woke up half-naked in a locked guest room at a party I barely remembered arriving at, I knew something was terribly wrong. The last thing I clearly recalled was sipping a drink she handed me. It was a Saturday night, and Vanessa had insisted we go to one of her fancy parties. One of those pretentious gatherings filled with her so-called friends, socialites, and upper-class phonies. I was never a fan, but she had practically begged me to attend this one. "Just one night, darling," she cooed, slipping her arms around me that morning. "I promise it'll be fun." I should have known better. The first red flag was the way she hovered around me, watching every sip of the whiskey she had personally poured. The second was how she nudged me towards the couch, whispering, "Relax, babe. Just unwind for once." And then nothing. When I came to, my head was pounding, my limbs sluggish. I was sprawled out on a luxurious guest bed in someone's mansion, stripped down to my boxers. The air was thick with the distant sound of laughter, clinking glasses, and muffled conversations. Panic set in. I tried the door, it was locked from the outside. That's when I knew. Vanessa had done something. A humiliation in the making. I forced myself to think past the haze. Vanessa had been distant lately, secretive. The late-night texts, the whispered phone calls, the expensive clothes she didn't buy with my money. I had suspected an affair but never had proof. Was this her way of setting me up? A drunken, compromised husband locked away while she did God knows what downstairs? Or worse, was she planning something even more humiliating? Some staged scene where she could paint me as an embarrassment, a failure, and give herself the moral high ground to leave? Whatever it was, I wasn't about to let it happen. Escape and the turning point. I scoured the room for anything useful. The window was too high, and there was no phone. But then, my eyes landed on a housekeeping cart left inside. A carelessly forgotten keyring sitting right on top. Thank you, careless host. Within minutes, I was out. I slipped into the hallway, quickly grabbing a discarded robe to cover myself as I made my way through the house. The laughter and chatter grew louder as I neared the main hall. And then, I heard her voice. Vanessa. Loud, confident, laughing. The sound of a woman in complete control of the room. I edged forward until I could see her. She was standing at the center of a semicircle of guests, glass in hand, smirking as she spoke. "So, yeah, I told him he needed to loosen up a little. Let go of that uptight, boring husband persona." She laughed, and so did the others. So I might have given him a little something to help him relax. And now, he's probably passed out in one of the guest rooms, drooling into a pillow. God knows he's not going to be much use tonight. The crowd erupted in laughter. I clenched my fists. So that was the game. She had drugged me, locked me up, and was now using me as the butt of her joke, painting me as a pathetic, boring husband in front of her new circle of wealthy, shallow friends. She wanted an exit. She wanted me to be the laughingstock so she could leave looking like the sophisticated, untethered woman who had outgrown me. Oh, sweetheart, you played the wrong game, turning the tables. I adjusted the robe, straightened my back, and stepped forward. The moment I entered, the room fell into stunned silence. Vanessa's eyes widened, her smirk faltering. "Hey, honey," I said, voice smooth, unwavering. "You were telling them about me?" Her mouth opened and closed. The panic in her eyes was delicious. I turned to the crowd, offering them a slow, knowing smile. "Sorry to disappoint you all. My wife was telling you how she drugged me tonight?" "Ah, that's cute." I let out a light chuckle, then turned to Vanessa. "I assume that's why I woke up half-naked in a locked room upstairs?" Gasps, murmurs. Someone choked on their drink. Vanessa paled. You were drunk. I was just joking, babe." "Ah, drunk. Right. So what did you slip into my drink?" "Vanessa." I interrupted smoothly, stepping closer. "Because I remember exactly one whiskey before everything went dark. And, well, considering I woke up alone, half-dressed, in a locked guest room, I think we both know what actually happened." Dead silence. Then, A voice, an older woman, someone clearly influential among the guests. "Wait, you drugged your husband?" Vanessa turned to her, panicked. "No, it was just a joke, I swear." I pulled out my phone, my fingers already tapping the screen. "A joke? Oh, so you won't mind if I just call the police right now? Because I think drugging someone without consent is considered a crime." She blanched. She knew she was cornered. The crowd was shifting now. Some murmuring, others outright backing away from her. The men looked awkward, some disgusted. The women, a mixture of pity and quiet judgment. Vanessa had spent years crafting a perfect social image, one that she had hoped would let her blend into the ranks of these elites. And now, she was about to become the scandal of the season. I turned to the host. "I think I'll take my leave, but I might need a ride, since my wife planned for me to be incapacitated." The host, an older man who had been watching with narrowed eyes, nodded firmly. "I'll have my driver take you home." Vanessa grabbed my arm. "Wait, please, let's just talk." I peeled her hand off me like she was something rotten. "Talk? You mean the way you talked about me tonight? Like I was some joke? Like I was nothing?" Her eyes brimmed with tears now, but I didn't care. "Vanessa," I said quietly, my voice calm, cold. "You just burned everything to the ground." With that, I turned and walked out. Vanessa had always been good at keeping up appearances. She could manipulate any situation, twist any narrative, and convince people that the sky was green if it suited her. But this time, she had no escape. The social fallout was swift and merciless. Word spread like wildfire among her social circles. The same friends who had once hung on her every word, who had admired her for her elegance and wit, now saw her for what she truly was, a calculating, heartless woman who drugged her own husband for amusement. The whispers followed her everywhere. The charity events she once flaunted her way into, the invites dried up. The high-end boutiques she frequented, sales clerks exchanged glances when she walked in, offering forced, uncomfortable smiles. And worst of all, the elite husbands and wives she once charmed suddenly had prior engagements whenever she tried to arrange a get-together. Vanessa was officially persona non grata. I should have been satisfied. I should have walked away and left it at that. But some wounds run deeper than mere humiliation. I wasn't done with her yet. Destroying the woman who tried to destroy me. I wasn't a fool. I knew Vanessa wouldn't go down without a fight. Even after the party disaster, I expected her to retaliate. What I didn't expect was just how desperate she would become. The morning after the party, I woke up to an email notification from my lawyer. Subject: Urgent, Vanessa's legal threats. I sighed, already knowing what it was. I called my attorney, Mark, who had been handling my affairs ever since I suspected Vanessa was cheating. "She's trying to file for divorce first," Mark explained, his voice laced with amusement. "Claims you were emotionally abusive, inattentive, and controlling. She wants half of your assets plus spousal support." I barked out a laugh. "Spousal support? She hasn't worked a real job in years." "That's not even the best part," Mark continued. "She also claims she's the victim in all this. That she only acted out at the party because she was under immense emotional distress due to your coldness in the marriage." I rubbed my temples. This was classic Vanessa, trying to twist things in her favor, hoping to play the victim. But she had forgotten one very crucial fact. I wasn't the fool she married. I was ready for this, revealing the affair and ruining her reputation further. I had hired a private investigator weeks before the party fiasco, and what he found was gold. The texts, the late-night rendezvous, the hotel receipts, Vanessa's affair with her latest boy toy, a younger corporate executive named Ryan, was fully documented. Vanessa had drugged me, humiliated me, and now wanted to paint herself as the victim? Not on my watch. I sent every damning piece of evidence straight to Mark, who wasted no time filing a counter-lawsuit. The legal papers I sent Vanessa were brutal. Allegations, marital misconduct, evidence of her extramarital affair. Reckless endangerment, proof that she drugged me without consent. Defamation, public humiliation with intent to destroy my reputation. I didn't just want a divorce. I wanted her left with nothing. And that's exactly what happened. The final blow, the divorce settlement. The moment Vanessa received the papers, she panicked. She called. She texted. She even showed up at my office unannounced, dressed in her most expensive dress, mascara smudged from tears. "Please, let's just talk," she pleaded, gripping my wrist as if she had any power left over me. I leaned back, watching her unravel. "Talk?" I scoffed. "Like you talked at that party? Like you drugged me into silence?" "No, Vanessa. We don't talk anymore." Her eyes darted around, desperate. "I made a mistake. We can fix this. We can go to counseling." I cut her off with a cold chuckle. "We're past counseling. You don't get to humiliate me, try to steal my money, and then ask for reconciliation when it all backfires." She trembled, her nails digging into my arm. "What do you want?" "I want you to suffer, Vanessa. The way you wanted me to suffer. I want you to wake up every day and realize that the only person you fooled was yourself." Her lip quivered. "You can't do this." "Oh, I already have." The divorce finalized within weeks. With the affair exposed and her reckless endangerment documented, Vanessa lost everything. No spousal support. No assets. Not even the condo she'd been eyeing. She walked away with nothing but the clothes on her back. Her downfall and my victory. With her social reputation already in ruins, Vanessa was left scrambling. Word had spread about her drugging incident, and her new lover Ryan? He dumped her the moment the scandal reached his company. She tried to move in with her friends, but none of them wanted to be associated with her anymore. The ones who had sided with her at the party quickly abandoned ship when my legal case destroyed her credibility. Last I heard, Vanessa was renting a small apartment on the other side of town, far from the luxury she had once flaunted. No more designer dresses, no more first-class vacations. Just a lonely, desperate woman who had played the game and lost. Me? Well, I thrived. Without Vanessa dragging me down, I focused on my work, my health, and my future. And as I sipped my morning coffee in peace, I smiled. Because in the end, Vanessa got exactly what she deserved. With the divorce finalized and her carefully curated life crumbling around her, Vanessa had no choice but to face the reality she had so desperately avoided. She was no longer the darling of high society, no longer the woman draped in designer clothes, sipping expensive cocktails at exclusive events. She was a nobody now, and it was killing her. I didn't bother keeping tabs on her at first, but life has a funny way of bringing karma front and center. Word of Vanessa's downfall traveled fast, and I started hearing whispers of her decline through old acquaintances. She tried everything to crawl back into her former lifestyle. First, she attempted to cozy up to some of the wealthier men in her circle, ones who might take pity on her and offer her a lifeline. But no one wanted to be associated with her after the scandal. She was damaged goods, and in a world where reputation was everything, hers was beyond repair. Next, she tried reaching out to Ryan, the man she had been sleeping with during our marriage. But he had already moved on, leaving her unread and unanswered. That's when the desperation really set in. The pathetic attempt to win me back. One evening, just as I was settling into my new, peaceful life, there was a knock at my door. I already knew who it was before I even opened it. Vanessa stood there, clutching her designer handbag like it was the last piece of luxury she had left. Her once flawless makeup was smudged, her perfectly styled hair now dull and unkempt. She had aged, not in years but in spirit. "Please," she whispered, her voice raw, desperate. "Just let me come in." I let out a low chuckle, leaning against the doorframe. And why would I do that? Tears welled up in her eyes. I was wrong. I was so wrong. And I miss you, okay? I tilted my head, pretending to think. You miss me? Or do you miss the money, the security, the lifestyle? Her lip quivered. You don't understand. I made a mistake. I was stupid, I got caught up in all the wrong things. But I know now that you were the best thing that ever happened to me. I laughed. Cold, humorless laugh. You knew that the moment I walked out of that party, Vanessa. You just didn't care. Not until you lost everything. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. We can fix this. We can start over. I shook my head, my smile widening. Start over? You mean let you back into my life so you can destroy it again? No, I swear. You humiliated me in front of your friends. You drugged me. You tried to ruin my reputation. And when that didn't work, you tried to take everything from me in court. She flinched at my words. I stepped forward, lowering my voice. Vanessa, you are nothing to me. Less than nothing. And I wouldn't take you back if you were the last woman on earth. A broken sob tore from her throat. She stood there for a moment, trembling, then turned on her heel and walked away. That was the last time I saw her. Final closure, the last nail in her coffin. Vanessa didn't just fade into obscurity. No, she plummeted. The last thing I heard was that she had resorted to working at a mid-tier fashion boutique. One of those places where she used to shop, but now had to work behind the counter. She had gone from sipping champagne at private galas to folding clothes and catering to women who barely acknowledged her existence. A poetic end for a woman who once thought she was untouchable. As for me, I thrived. With my business booming, my social life refreshed, and a new sense of freedom, I had never been happier. And every so often, when I passed by that boutique and saw Vanessa through the window, her eyes dull, her posture hunched in defeat, I would smile. Because in the end, she didn't just lose me. She lost everything. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.